What is up, everybody? Welcome to another week, another day here at the Legacy Showdown League. We have a little bit of a schedule mix-up tonight, but before we get into that, I'm sitting next to my good friend Smitty. Smitty, what's going on?
Chilling, my friend. It was a good weekend. It was chill. Unfortunately, my Bears were not able to pull out the dub against the Rams yesterday. I know it was a hard-fought game. Defense looked good. Offense just couldn't get anything going. But super proud of the season. It was a fun season. But again, that's football. We're here for some Call of Duty. I'm excited here for this. We've got LA Rumble and Chicago Unity starting out tonight. I am pumped about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch these match. I know LA Rumble had a little bit of a rough start. Curious to see how Chicago Unity does. I mean, under what they were Vancouver week 1, they went 0-1, and under Chicago they went 0-1 as well. But the little bit of life was shown from them towards the end of that first series that we got to watch them play. So I'll be curious to see how they do tonight.
Yeah, and this is really, I know LA has got to be hankering for that first dub. Unfortunately, last week for them, they got the reverse sweep happen. So, that's got to be tough being up so much and then end up losing that. So I'm sure, they've got some feelings. They're probably ready to get down and hopefully come out here strong. I have not personally had a chance to check out Chicago, so I'm excited to see what Chicago's all about. I know they had a back and forth with Toronto here last week, so it'll be interesting to see, kind of how they bounce back from that loss last week and look to get that win in the win column.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be big for both of these teams, right? Going into this series, I don't know. It can be super rough. You don't want to start off the season too much on a lull. You kind of just want to get started hot. But so going down 0-2, you got to be checked just a little bit. So I'll be curious to see who kind of bounces back from that best tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, too, it's going to be kind of, what they've learned from their previous matches, what they take in, what kind of adjustments and things like that as well that have been made. I know, too, behind the scenes, there's been some shuffling and moving, people being put up on the trade block, some folks getting traded and whatnot. So it looks like some of the teams are kind of trying to make some roster moves, make some adjustments in terms of that and try to find something that's going to be a little more cohesive. Again, it's really tough. I know we're at the beginning of the season, but it's still really tough going down so much and trying to climb your way back. So they're both going to look to put a win tonight here in this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be big just to get that first win, just get it up and out of the way. We have an interesting layout tonight here for your maps. Map 1 is going to be Scar. Map 2 is going to be Raid for the S&D. The Overload is going to be Den. Then we're going to go back to Hardpoint on Den. And then guess where we're going to end up in Game 5? Den. So a lot of Den. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, it always makes me a little bit nervous every time I see a lot of the same map. Teams definitely have good maps. And then if you give another team an opportunity to kind of get their map over and over and over again, and that's when things can be a little dicey.
Yeah, and that is always a challenge too, especially, that first map there with Overload. Whoever ends up winning that, they kind of get to take that momentum going in. Of course, they're going to be going back to Den for a hard point, so I feel like you may be at an advantage getting a dub there. But again, too, it really, that stuff I feel like has a little bit of a factor, but again, there's so much that goes into it in terms of the games, the maps, and what people are comfortable with. Maybe they practice more on a particular map. So it'll be interesting to see, number one, who takes that first one in Overload, and then who then in Hardpoint, if they're able to capitalize on that or if it flips over.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how well these teams do it in the respawn. We've seen a lot of series, this map 2, get traded. So we've seen a lot of 301s. We've seen a few 3-0s, but we've seen a lot of 301s, and oftentimes it is going to be that second map on the S&D that gets traded out. So I'll be curious to see what team kind of brushes it up, whether it be have kind of like the mix, right? We haven't really seen a ton of teams have the mix of both. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to see who can do both.
Yeah, and of course too, we'll see who gets to that hard start or that kind of jumping off and get ahead here in hard point. Hard point being a more kind of faster paced game mode. So we'll see what kind of strategy they look to employ, if there's anything that they've taken from last week, and if they're gonna take that into this match. I'm just pumped to see the two go at it. I know I've been down. You're at the start of the season. You're not starting out the way that you want to, and you just need that bounce back game. You just need that one match, get that dub, and then everything seems to start falling into place
Hmm.
after that. So I know they're both hungry for it. This should be a great matchup.
Yeah, and looking at the rosters now, we have Ack, Braid, Buckshot, and Ice Spot. Those are going to be your players for Chicago. On the other side, on the LA Rumble, we're going to have Adonis, Bryant, Tamer, and Get Picked. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, just kind of by looking at what I've seen, I'm kind of expecting LA Rumble to get their first win of the league tonight. They have some pretty solid players on their team. Adonis is. I always really enjoy watching Adonis's arrow, and same with Get Picked. So I'll be curious to see how the Chicago team lines up against them.
Yeah, and I'm actually familiar with Tamer there on LA. I didn't realize that he was playing. So I know that dude. I've seen him play. He's a demon too. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize on that, and then what Chicago is able to do here coming out again. Coming off that loss to Toronto, it was back and forth though.
Mm.
So I'm sure they're staying hungry. They're ready to get into this match and get that dub going. So we'll see how things shake out, and again, it's the other thing too, and I don't know how much they're scrimming and whatnot, but kind of it's the beginning of the week too, so we'll see if that, if there's a little bit of rust in. I don't know about you. I kept it super chill this weekend, so it takes me a little bit to kind of get into things again. Like, all right, I got to be a person here. So, yeah, we'll see how much that stuff factors in, but we should be getting here or getting started here soon, right?
Yeah, we're just waiting for the host right now to start the map. I went ahead and let them know that I was ready. So yeah, we're just getting ready to load into the Scar. I like Scar as a map. Obviously, Scar and Den are going to be your two favorites that you probably see most often, especially in this league. Yeah, I just think they're well balanced maps. Raid is usually your map number two. These teams like to play Raid. I think a lot of these players are a little bit more familiar with Raid than some of the other maps. So kind of pick what you know. Pick what you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You do see more familiarity with the map Raid there. And then, the last couple of weeks here, since I've been on, I feel like personally I haven't seen Scar as a map too often. So I'm excited to have a hard point there and have them get down and dirty on that map. And of course, Den, again, Den's another solid map too. So the fact that we're going to be having potentially 3 back-to-back Dens is always exciting.
Yeah, that Den, it could be a shootout on Den, but you gotta get to that second one first. It's all about, these teams are definitely gonna just try to get the 3-0, right? I mean, that's gonna be super important. You kind of want to get the win done and dusted out of the way. So both of these teams are definitely not looking forward to trying going to a game 5.
Yeah, and of course, LA, they had it in their grasp
Mm-hmm.
last week. To have it slip away like that, I know has got to be painful. So I feel like they might come out a little angry tonight. Like, yo, we're not letting that happen again. We've got to be able to close out, and that's something that's super important, is being able to close out. You can be up, but as you can see, people can turn it around or are able to do a reverse sweep or something like that, and it never feels good to be up that much. You kind of rest on your laurels a little bit, and other teams are able to take advantage, and in a situation like that happens, I can't not see them coming into this with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
All right. Yeah. I mean, both of these teams are going to kind of have that, especially too with the name change here from Chicago. Yeah, both these teams are going down 0-2. It looks like there's a little bit of confusion on who is the party leader. Yeah, someone just got kicked.
It's all right. We'll get it squared away here. What's going on? I see Monka is out there. Zeus, Brandon, Hybrid, Vasquez, my dog, my G. It's good to see you guys. Thank you guys again so much for joining us tonight for another week of the LSL. We're getting started here with the LA Rumble and Chicago Unity. It is going to be fire. First map has not happened yet, Hung. We're still getting set up here, but we should be starting here relatively soon.
Yeah, hopefully pretty soon. One of the players just dropped from the lobby, so maybe a little bit of a PC reset. What happens when you play online, right? A little bit technical difficulties.
That's technology. That is technology.
That is technology.
It's like, I swear, like every time, like beforehand, everything works perfectly. When it's time to go, that's when things start like, wait a second, what is going on here? Why didn't that happen before? We were Gucci, but yeah. So again, we're starting out. If you're just tuning in, our map rotation for this first match is going to be Scar with Hardpoint, Raid, S&D, Den Overload, Den Hardpoint, and then if there's a game 5, Den S&D. So it's gonna be fire. Both teams looking to gobble up a win here. We went over and did rosters and stuff like that too. So now it's just getting in and checking out the action and seeing who comes out victorious for this first matchup here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big one for both teams. Both teams are 0-2, so looking to kind of wash away their fears of what they had at the start of the season. Yeah, I hope we see a game 5. I'm very rare that we get to see a game 5, so I'm really wanting it to. I'm wanting it to go to distance.
Refresh. I guarantee if either one of those teams heard that, they'd be like, hell no.
Yeah, I know. They'd be like, just let me
3-0. I want to be done.
Yeah, I want to be done
and walk away.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice part about this league, right? These teams that haven't won a game have to play each other. So you have teams like this running into each other, and I mean I think it's going to be a battle. I think at the very least we'll have a good even match. So I think there's a chance there too for like some good quality entertainment to come from this game.
Yeah, no matter what, somebody is walking away with a dub. Somebody is walking away with their first win. So that's going to be a great morale boost for the team. And of course, too, even if you are on the losing side of it, I feel like just seeing that progress and being able to make it a match, make it a game, not just, and be able to correct mistakes that you made previously, it's still a win in my book. In terms of the teams, but of course you've got to get wins overall to be able to compete in this league. So it's gonna be a hard fought battle. The stakes are high. Someone gets to get a one in that win column. They've got to be hungry. Both teams have got to be hungry.
Yeah, I mean it's a need, right? It's just a morale need. Going into any series not having a win could be super tough. So it's just a big morale boost for everybody. Everybody's just looking to get that first win. Start playing a little bit of catch up when it comes to later on in the league and the format. So you kind of want to have a one up on these teams, and you have to have one up on the board before you can get one up on them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course too, this is also a time where everyone's kind of feeling each other out and seeing what people are made of. So of course that first meeting is it could be, sometimes it can be very lopsided or whatever, but again, that's where once folks are able to get some information on people, get some film on people and these teams, they're able to then make those adjustments and kind of strategize for those teams what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully these teams have had enough time to sit down and look over VOD. I mean, I know LA Rumble have a lot of VOD that they probably have looked over. Chicago, not so much. Really, with this team, you really only have one week worth of VOD. But I think the timer is counting down, and that is music to my ears because I'm ready to get into this match.
Heck yeah. We will get that to you here in a second, Brandon. Brandon's asking who's starting for Chicago. And Hung, we do know that Tamer is in. He has not played the last couple of weeks, so I believe he is subbing for somebody.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
That's
who he
right.
was subbing for. Yeah, Chicago, you have Braid, Buckshot, Icebot, and at LA, you have Bryant, Tamer get picked, and Adonis.
Nice. So we've seen it too here the last couple of weeks. Adonis has had some strong showing, so I'm expecting more of that as we get started here. There's get picked as well. Looks like Tamer is down. We got a little trade there. Jock for that hard point position. And let's see, we're over here on Adonis as LA gets on the point and they are scoring. Adonis is just posted up here, waiting for somebody as somebody slides in and gets killed. LA continuing to rack up points, but it looks like Chicago's able to squeeze in there and get a point at least. So right now it looks like LA is kind of winning the slaying battle a little bit as they're getting time and they're able to stay on the point a little longer here. But Chicago takes over and we'll see if they can take advantage. That was very short-lived, unfortunately for them. But it looks like we're going to have that rotation as the hard point moves and Chicago's able to take possession. That's huge as they get 2 slays. Looks like 3 and 4 trying to push down a little bit. They both get got. I see that Braid is looking on that backside. Is able to take somebody down. Got a little bit of a contest. Adonis sitting there looking to get some more kills and possibly push up on that point as they are contesting now.
Yeah, Braid trying to do a little bit of work over on this P2 side towards green. Trying to get a few kills, pretty even so far in this P2. Going into this P2, you're about halfway through it. People are going to start rotating over towards P3. You see a couple of blue arrows already head that direction. Act is going to be a big player here, trying to grab a kill off of the plane heady. Going to read the spawn on green. Going to read that correctly. Got the call out from Icebot. The Icebot spawn blue. So Act looking over towards the screen side, trying to pick off any of these players chilling in the window.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge too. Huge defense as Chicago is able to get on point and rack up some more of this time as well. Looks like LA is struggling to get down. They had a couple people chilling in that window, but Chicago's able to get another slay there on get picked, and that's going to be huge for them to continue racking up points as we get close to the 30-second mark. That's gonna hurt. Bryant tries to push in there on point, gets slayed, and get picked. Is able to get a pick. Looks like LA is gonna be able to turn the tides here as they score here within the last 20 seconds. And I imagine they're gonna start rotating over here to P3 as Chicago hops back on here for the last 10 seconds. That's gonna be a nice little cap there to be able to extend as LA is trying to set up there for that rotation. It looks like they'll be able to get point. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Streak called in. You don't get any kills, but you do get a little bit of info. You're trying to break over into this P4 onto this bottom blue side. That's a big kill in the back. However, it's gonna be the players of LA Rumble that are starting to fall. Chicago's starting to get a control up top a little bit here. Time is white. No one's really getting any of it right now. Adonis going to try to wrap around the back. We're going to hop on board with them as they push up top. Bryant, Adonis sharing the slaying power there. Still, no one really getting any time off of this. I feel like both teams have had a lot of control of this point, but nobody's really gotten any meaningful time off of it.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge. That's huge for the unity there. I felt like that would have been that was a nice get there on Buckshot as they made the rotation. It looks like we've got Bryant ready in position for that change as time expires here on that point and we move over. However, Bryant gets slain. LA is down with get picked. the only one up, and Chicago's going to be able to secure this point, start racking up some more time. We'll see here if LA can come in and disrupt. It looks like they are. It looks like Tamer was able to get on point, contest and slay there. However, 2 of them, or 3 of them, sorry, are picked. That's going to be huge as Unity continues racking up these points.
Yeah, iSpot and Act right there doing a really good job getting a couple of slays and staying alive. Allowing your teammates to put a little bit of work in on the map. iSpot going to toss a stun, just using as much of their life to get info as they can. Is going to fall up top. Call out should be coming that the player is top green, so I'll be curious to see who picks that up. It is going to be Act. As I say that, LA is going to be trying to get the rest of the scrap time. It's going to tick back over to P1. You got Get Picked already ready for the new setup in a big gunfight. Rips that player off the hotel. Hetty going to try to play in 10. Oh, you got to stay alive there because it's about to tick over. You are definitely not in the lead, and this might snowball if they don't get a hold of this map.
Yeah, this is not looking good as it looks like Tamer gets got in the window. LA does have position right now. They need to play some defense here and just kind of stack up here on these points. Otherwise, you're right. They are going to have a rough time as it looks like Tamer is able to get back on the point. He's get pinched though by iSpot. And it looks like Buckshot and Act goes up top to look and drop down and start scoring here on that last little bit. It looks like Tamer is just looking, I don't know how much action, trying to get some stuff going down there as he jumps out the window here. Is looking to get the slay. Unfortunately, there was a trade there, though. That was huge.
Yeah, that was a big trade. Buckshot gonna be wrapping, well, was wrapping over towards P2. Now that P2 is ticked over, you got a big chance here if you're LA to get back into this game. You're not down by too much anymore. Get Picked picks up a nice 2-piece, is gonna fall. However, that's going to be Bryant and Adonis chilling in the point, kind of waiting for action to happen around them. iSpot's going to get the call out from earlier. Going to pick up a nice 2-piece. iSpot and Buckshot combined getting 4 players from LA Rumble down. They're going to spawn all the way back over towards green. I mean, the call outs are going to come. Braid picking up 2. Braid's going to fall. Act picking up 1. So another 3 dead for LA. Right now, Chicago's looking really good, not only just in the slaying department, but like just the map control. I feel like their awareness is really well. I feel like when their players are spawning up, they're calling out where they're spawning. And I think they've kind of just had their head on the swivel, it looks like. It feels like they're just making really, really good reads.
Yeah, and they're, again, too, they're able to put a little distance between the point and the LA Rumble by getting those slays without them even getting a chance to get in and contest or anything like that, as LA does take control. Ack and Braid got there. It looks like Brian's hopping on the point as Buckshot also gets slain. We've got Ack and iSpot looking to push in. We'll see if, Ack gets the slay there.
Oh!
Get one more. They flipped it, dude. That was huge. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, that's a big spawn flip now. And now it's going to be Chicago trying to working against the grain right now. Trying to get these players out. Buckshot's going to be the last alive, and Point had an opportunity there to get a nice 2-piece. That's not going to go in their way. Adonis picking up a nice 3-piece. 25 and 16, now currently on a 3 streak. We're going to hop on board over with them as they're just playing their life. They're chilling up top blue window, checking out the monitors, seeing what's going on the mini-map.
Yeah, this is going to be huge as Taylor goes down in the window. Unity is able to take control. They were already over there. That is, oh my goodness. Ouch. LA, though, does recover, is able to get back and get within control. We've got a little under a 30-point game here. This is going to be a huge point for them. They get some slays here as Get Picked sits on point. It looks like Brian's trying to come around. Does get Braid on the backside there. That's going to be a huge slay as they continue racking up points. We're under 10 points here, brother. Let's go.
Yeah, they brought it in super, super close, especially on this P4. And they're looking like they're going to get the rest of the scrap time, too. Bryant, though, going to fall. Who is this? Get Picked. Going to be kind of your last alive over towards this blue area. Looking to get this player off of the time. Able to pick up that kill with the pistol. Going to reload the M15. Gonna die up on top blue. Get Picked doing a really good job keeping off that time. Now just under a 20-point lead here for Chicago when it was almost looking like 100 points at one point.
Yeah, no, they were able to that last P4 there. That was absolutely huge. Being able to just hold it down, really get some time there. Great, they had like 2 or 3 slays there as they had control. Chicago Unity's able to get control back as they get a slay down the window. He's looking for that 2-piece. He jumps out.
That's not
Buckshot
good.
Gets got though. Ow.
Yeah, that was not good. Buckshot basically was able to secure those spawns for back green for his team. However, they weren't able to make anything happen. So as I'm saying this, that lead is going to change. So LA Rumble starting off really, really slow in this first hard point, starting to pick it up a little bit. That was a nice kill by Braid. Braid not staying alive. 3-kill streak from them. Buckshot going to get the rest of this time to just barely hold on the lead. I feel like every single time we go into a new heal rotation, that lead is smaller and smaller.
You're right, and they were able to flip it there. So really, this P1 flip here, as 2 of them get got from up top, it looks like Buckshot's going to be able to get on point, start racking up. LA's going to need to get some plays here and need to do it and flip it. There's still plenty of time left, though. You can see, obviously, it's not going to, I don't think, get decided here as LA takes control. Tamer looking from up above, gets clipped a little bit as Ack gets got there in the middle. Another, as Braid goes down, Buckshot goes down. LA's defense right here is huge. They've reclaimed the lead, and they are looking to extend here. Finally, Bryant goes down. Braid's able to get the slay, but gets traded out. That's going to be huge. LA continues just racking up.
Oh,
what a flip, dude.
That's a big kill right there. Act tried to do so much work to try to flip these spawns over towards blue. You do spawn a tad bit closer on blue if you're looking over towards this P2. The Act doing the work just throws the longest shoulder I've ever seen past that barrier instead of focusing on spawn. Gonna get picked up, and just like that, I think this hard point's gonna end here. I think this P2 might be it. They have full lockdown of this. As I say that though, some kills going in the way. Oh. We got a streak. Yeah, we got the streaks are out. The bullets are flying. Can this player stay alive? That streak might have been wasted, and that's an interesting time. Okay, picks up 2. Adonis did a good job there with that streak. I would say that was going to be interesting. You had to get a kill there with your streak. Yeah, you got to chow that. Yeah, LA's got that first map win in a close one. 250 to 224. I would say Chicago had control of it the majority of the time, but as it happens, LA get the victory of that map number 1.
And this isn't the first time that we've seen LA do that. I feel like they kind of they start out slower and then they start picking up as the map goes. We've seen them flip it. We saw them do it last week as well. So that was well done by them. In order, and those last 2 or 3 points that I feel like those were the most important for them. They were able to lock those down, defend them, score off it, come back, and then they just carried that momentum into the victory.
Yeah, I see that you guys had a little bit of an audio delay. I'm going to fix that real fast. Real fast.
We got that. Yeah, that was that was a heck of a match there. Again, no surprise seeing LA do that. That's not the first time we've seen them kind of come back there and do something like that. Get Picked had a great game, sitting at 40-30 as well. That was absolutely huge. People putting up good times and whatnot. And of course, we're going to slow it down here, moving over to Raid next and S&D. So it's always a big, going from action-packed hard point to having to slow it down a little bit and kind of reset and, kind of focus up for that search and destroy. I love seeing the juxtaposition between the 2 different modes.
Yeah, I mean, I think this next S&D is going to be really telling for the series going forward. LA Rumble, I think, did a really good job of coming back in that map 1. You got to be a little bit confident now going into this map 2, being able to kind of make a little bit of a comeback. Yeah, I think that's super important. It's super important for morale on the team.
Of course, and again, Chicago's going to look to they played well. It just It was a matter of just not being able to there at the end finish out and get that time and have that defense. So I again they still played well, getting the rust off a little bit. I expect to see here a bounce back from Chicago going into this S&D map. But again, we've seen strong performances from LA here in the S&D mode as well. So it's not going to be a small feat for Chicago to overcome, especially once LA kind of gets back into the groove of thing and they start going. They really let that momentum carry them.
Yeah, they definitely do. I think LA, it was Boston that reverse swept them in that first week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've seen LA go up before, but I think it's going to be that overload, right? I think that's going to be your swing map. I feel like this is either going to be a 3-0 or I could see another potential here to a reverse sweep, because if you lose that overload, I mean, you barely won this this hard point on Scar. So
Right.
I could see the tables turning, and then you're going to come down to, I mean, den, right? So if they win the first den, there's a chance they can win all three if they're super comfortable.
Again, if I'm LA, I only want to see Den one time. That's it. So they'll be looking to hopefully try to close that out, get the 3-0 here. But you're right. I think the potential is there. S&D again gonna be kind of that it'll be a gauge. We've seen it before where you can go up 2-0 and then that overload map comes in and that could just be a huge swing. And then of course the caveat to that is that we're going to be den the rest of the time after that. So we'll see if that plays it, has a factor in things and how it plays out, how familiar they are with that map, with overload, with hardpoint, with S&D, if it comes to that. So it should be good. I'm excited to see what they bring here to the table of S&D and how they kind of play things out. Are they going to play it aggressively? Are they going to be playing for bomb plans and then setup? It should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch this S&D. I really like S&D, especially on a map like Raid. I think it's always fun. It's always good. There's a lot of mixy stuff. I feel like both points are pretty even to get to. I feel like whether you're playing bomb side or ring side, I feel like both areas are pretty feasible to get that bomb planted. So I think teams winning this first offense and their first defense, I think is super big. Being able to have confidence to win both type of rounds, I think is going to kind of be what's the difference here.
Yeah, and I imagine that they're going to want to just kind of shut things down and get in there. And I'm curious to see what the strategy is in terms of both sides coming from LA and Chicago. Of course, LA taking that first one in hardpoint. So there's a little bit there, maybe a thought of that, but I imagine you just take it one game at a time. They're moving on to the search and destroy, looking to implement whatever their strategy may be, and then try to carry that out. Of course, you've got to look at hardpoint to see who did well on the other side and maybe put a little more focus on that person. But again, search and destroy is a different animal, so you have to treat it as such.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different with the pacing. A lot more communication. You got to make sure you start double hitting. I think team shooting is really important in S&D, keeping those players weak. Using your tax for info is really big as well, especially at the beginning of the rounds. I think there's a lot of potential here that we have for a good game. But yeah, LA is definitely going to want to try to go up 2-0.
Yeah, and we'll get this bounce back here and see, especially with Chicago, they're no strangers to being down, so they know what they need to do in terms of turning things around. The information that they got, being able to play an opponent, it's always different going from watching film to actually being in it, playing against the opponent and whatnot. So we'll see what kind of info they were able to take there from that first game, how they apply it to the rest of the games moving forward as well. And of course, Chicago's going to want to get at least on the board here. You don't want to go down 0-2. That makes, that's a tough hill to climb going down. Obviously, we've seen it done before, but nobody wants to be able to be put into that type of position going into map 3. So they're definitely going to be looking to reverse and turn the tables here and hopefully get to game 3 in a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, I mean that would be totally ideal. If you're Chicago, Chicago needs to tie up the series here. Um, I mean, you just don't want to get smacked around too bad right here, especially against a team that is also 0-2. I think, yeah, this is going to be big momentum, right? And again, I'm curious to see who's going to win this den. I feel like this den is also going to be super, super important. So maybe, I mean, Chicago, I mean, you don't want to go down 0-2, but you gotta maybe start planning for den already.
That's where we flip the script. I don't know. Again, I haven't had a chance to watch Chicago yet this season, so I'm also familiarizing myself. I haven't seen them in an S&D map either, so we'll see too. Maybe hard point. And again, if you think about it, if you look back at the match that we just watched, they were leading the majority of that map. So, you know, again, they ended up losing it. They didn't finish it out, but that could be a motivator as well to come in, make sure that they're closing out these games, not letting them go down. If the opponent is down, keeping them down. In situations like that, it's okay to kick people while they're down. Okay, you're looking to stomp somebody out, get a dub, get out the way, and be done with it. So we'll see how aggressive they come in and play it out. So
Yeah, it
should
looks
be good.
yeah, it looks like we are going to start. Oh, maybe team swap, maybe settings weren't changed properly. We were very, very close to being in map number 2, and that would have been really, really cool.
That's right. You just get more of our faces. That's okay.
Yeah, have fun.
LA won map 1 there. The score, I believe it was 250 to 224. I want to say LA Rumble ended up coming back there on the last couple of points, took over the lead, and then they just ran away with it from there.
Yeah, honestly, they had the lead for the majority of the game until you kind of have a pretty scrappy P5. And then P1 kind of goes everyone's way, but it ends up ending in that P2. Yeah, LA Rumble just kind of sweeping in at the end and just taking the point. Chicago had a really big lead at one point. They just let it get chipped away. It's not like LA hard stopped them and they got all of their points kind of all in one go. They just chipped away at it over time, 4 or 5 hills, and then all of a sudden they were in the lead. And it's just that's how it happens. You gotta have a little bit of composure on the map, or else I think a lot of it also comes down to scrap time. I think scrap time is super important.
Yeah, no, it's those last little bits too, where, that could be just enough for you to be able to. I mean, it may not even be what pushes you over the edge, but just inches you, a little closer and breaking down that deficit and not letting it get out of hand. Again, I feel like if you keep things relatively close, there's always that opportunity to be able to flip the script and pull out a dub. So it's those games or those matches where, you start getting up 100, 150. It's like, oh boy, this is getting ugly. This is getting real ugly.
Yeah, and then just being able to close it out super important. Making sure your team has the composure. And being able to adjust the playmaking on the fly too is really, really big. I think there's always a lot of times where teams kind of fail to see that a change is happening, whether it be someone either swapping weapons or just playing or hitting deep flanks. I felt like Chicago at the end got caught off of really long rotations. The one that I can think of is Ack did a lot of work to try to flip for the P2 close to the end of the game and just ended up over-challenging a little bit, trying to kill a player off of P1. And because of that, they were not able to get the spawns for P2. And that's ultimately where they ended up losing the game. So I think if you're going to hit those long routes, especially at a hard point, you got to make sure they're not getting too much time off of it and it's successful, right? You got to be at least in position.
Yeah, and that is the biggest part. It's one thing, and we've seen it here over a couple of different matches where, we'll see a great play, happening and developing, and then at the very end the execution falls short, and it's just like, it was all for not only that, but now they're out of position, your team's out of position, or you're down. So here we go as we get started. Adonis with the bomb here. I cannot freaking wait.
Hop on board with Adonis. Adonis kind of solo challenging over here on A. They're gonna fake hit A. Maybe Adonis pushes late into mid, but I think you're gonna have a big gunfight over here. Oh no, who's that? Ack hitting that a little bit late. Look at all these blue arrows swarmed on over onto B. B is gonna be the place where we have all these gunfights. This number 7 arrow though, watch, they're gonna be trying to hit a deep flank. Ack with another deep flank, getting kind of caught off guard. iSpot picks up first blood, however. Trades do not go in the way of Chicago. Chicago having a hard time in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that was tough, and that was a long road, or like kind of flanked by Ack. If Ack was able to execute there, that would have been devastating there for the LA Rumble as they take that first one. Able to get all the slays there. That was huge for them opening round. And again, Ack, what a great spot there by Tamer, catching him in the flank. If he didn't get caught, I feel like LA would have been in trouble there.
Yeah, no, LA definitely they had a few moments where they had somebody behind them or kind of looking at an angle that they weren't expecting. Ack just almost hit a perfect timing, especially on that bomb player wrapping all the way around back. They Adonis was kind of ISO'd over there towards A, and then what ended up happening is they got picked off one by one. But Ack playing pretty straight up with this bomb, gonna get bombed down. Got first blood on Bryant as well. Adonis picks up a nice kill in mid. However, bomb is going to go down. 2v3 now. Lives in favor of LA Rumble. The timer in favor of Chicago. Ack and iSpot. Oh, is he going to check? Knows that player is there. Going to have to hop it. Both those players running. The panic was setting in. Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of panic there if you're Chicago. Ack just pushing everybody out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. This was not the cleanest looking kill.
No. First I was like, wait a second.
I was like, dude, if he gets this, I'll lose my mind. I would crash out.
What are you doing? Oh, boy.
Both teams winning their defensive round. Offensive round.
Huge.
All right, both teams winning the offense. So it's a race to see who can win a defense, right? Who has the better defensive setup? This is big.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. As Braid gets naded for that first blood. Adonis throwing up an alley-oop there. That was going to be huge as we zero in here on it. It looks like we've got Get Picked is laying down that bomb there at B. Get Picked to get it down. And we'll see if who's going to win that slaying battle as Brian throws a nade. Knows somebody's around that corner and gets got.
Yeah, nades have been the downfall of these players here in this round. You got to be a little bit pissed if you're Braid. You use one of your 2 sniper lives, and you just get naded off the rip. This is big. If Get Pick can get out of this situation, Adonis has a big chance to trade. With 7 seconds left, he only needs to defend the bomb for just a couple of seconds. Gonna opt to run away. I like the play here. Reach Hell at 7.5. That player cannot defuse. However, Buckshot is on a 2 streak. You don't want to die there. Trying to stay alive. Big gunfight win off of the bomb heady. I like it.
Wow, that was a huge jump. Adonis coming in. Adonis is not playing around. We talked about it beforehand, before the match started. Adonis has been hot the last couple of games, continuing that streak, winning that gunfight. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah, that was a big round win, too. I feel like that could be a little bit of a momentum changer here for LA, winning a round that decisively. I'm looking for any snipers. Braid puts it away. So now snipes out. Let's see how Braid 0-3 right now, having a really slow start. We're going to stay on board with their POV. See if they can pick off Adonis on top of that ledge. All 4 of these players... Yeah, kind of grouped up. You need Braid doing a really good job with the flank right here.
Well, that's a huge kill, but gets traded out there.
Yeah, that's a lot of info for the second. Yeah, they know. They know he's there.
Yep. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. Adonis being the last one left alive gets picked from the window. Chicago's gonna tie it up. We're going back and forth here, baby. I love it.
Yeah, is it all offense wins so far?
I think so. Yeah. That was nice shots there too. Again, Adonis and Ack doing work as well, sitting at 6 and 2. Of course, you've got the high ends between Adonis and Ack, and then you've got Brian. Brian was able to get on the board, sitting at 2 and 4. So was Braid now at 1 and 4. So everyone's on the board now. This is gonna be a huge as Tamer. We see Tamer's POV get picked. Is going to pick up the bomb, and it looks like they're all going straight up the middle. We'll see if they break towards B or A. Looks like, yeah. Get picked goes directly to A, and it looks like, may start dropping. Yep, it's starting to lay out the bomb as Braden Tamer, they trade there. Brian, that was huge. I cannot believe Brian was able to get out of that.
Yeah, Brian was able to get out. That means Buckshot's left in a 1v3 again. Bomb planted. We haven't seen a defensive round win. This one be a big one here. Buckshot wrapping all the way to the art. There's a guy top ring. I'm pretty sure he just got spotted in through that little door. 20 seconds left. You got to go if you're going to try to clutch this. Yeah, this player watching mid. Who is this? Bryant. Yeah, Bryant's going to pick up that kill. Nice and easy. Catching the player coming out of Zig. Solid round. Oof. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Yeah, they're jocking for it. I like it though. They are scrapping out here, and you can see this is pretty evenly matched up right now as well. I like the fact too that both teams have been pretty aggressive about getting down, getting the bomb placed, and then going and looking for them slays.
Yeah, I mean, getting that bomb down is super, super important, especially in a game mode like S&D. You force that timer into your favor, and that timer is super, super important. I mean, you force them into a completely different section of the map. Adonis with another nade. We watched that. Holy moly, from spawn. Adonis doing a really good job with all the pre-nade spots. And then I think this is going to be your first defensive round win unless Bray can clutch a 1v4. And just like that, LA taking the first defensive win in this game and pretty decisively. Adonis with the pre-nades just looking super, super solid on the map.
Crazy. Like, again, that's the second one that we've seen. We just saw that. He threw it up. Bye.
I want to know. I want to know what this POV looks like. Teach me. Please.
Like, oh my. We'll see here if Chicago's able to turn it around and get a score here. This is going to be a huge round for them as well. So we're here on Adonis. Adonis has been killing it.
Yeah, so cooking another nade. Gets the hit marker. That player is going to be wearing flak. I don't know who that was. Braid with the sniper. Act with a nice kill as well. Braid's going to be looking to stay alive this round. Not letting that sniper go. Buckshot picking up Tamer. Took a little bit of a dip in the swimming pool. All 4 down. Now they trade defensive rounds. And just like that, it's a 1-round game.
Yep, that was a huge defensive round there. And they were on point with the guns. They got the kills. They did not play around there. So that's going to be huge. Icebot getting that final kill here on Adonis. We'll see, LA, now their turn again. We'll see if they're able to capitalize and do something here, or if Chicago can keep this momentum going as we're locked in here on Braid.
Yeah, Braid's going to be the one running the sniper rifle. Adonis looking to get another pre-nade. Saw the arm move, so we'll see if this connects. Did connect. That player is running flak, so it looks like they've opted to run flak jacket now instead of tack. So that's going to be big. Adonis still getting the first blood on Ack. Braid, I don't know if you saw that, didn't throw any tacks, didn't use any bullets, so was able to swap back over to the AR. So this is going to count as an AR life, not a sniper life. I like that play a lot. Get the info, and then you can swap. You have 10 to 15 seconds to swap. I forget what the time is on it.
That was huge, though, and to be able to make a decisive play like that, you get a little bit of information. They're able to get a pick, and it's like, you know what? Why waste it? Let's go ahead and pull it back, switch back over to the AR. And Brian comes up. He's not going to be able to get the kill there. And Chicago takes another one, tying it up 4-4. We've got a match, folks.
Yeah, tying it up 4-4. So far, so good for this SND. Well over past halfway through. Both these teams need 2 rounds to win it. Chicago winning 2 rounds back-to-back, trading up LA's 2 rounds back-to-back. But yeah, we're kind of stuck here, a little bit of a standoff. No one really looking egregious outside of Tamer. Tamer had a rough time slaying that last game, having a rough time slaying this game. However, they were able to pull out the win anyway. So let's hop on board this POV. Let's critique it. Let's sit behind the desk with no experience and critique this player.
You know, that's all right. I know my man Tamer as another nade kill, I believe, over on that left side on Ack, dude. Those nades are ridiculous.
Yeah, these nades have just been falling left and right for Adonis. Adonis 9 and 4. I swear half of those are with nades.
And like, dude, like that makes a huge difference when it comes to just that the numbers game here, and being down out the gate like that is brutal.
Yeah, I mean you're capitalizing on those first bloods, and those first bloods are happening in a way where you're not able to really trade it. Yeah,
that's gonna take that one. Yeah, no, I'm telling, like, again, Adonis coming out, and even when he's not getting a kill, he's still getting hit markers. He's still getting info when he's throwing those nades out too. So again, Adonis is doing work here.
Yeah, those nades, man. Yeah, those untradeable kills, right? That's such a big part. Get picked though on a 3 streak. I want to see the nades. I just want to see the nades, dude. The highlight.
Like, yeah. As Ack picks up the bomb here, Adonis going middle, and it looks like Chicago's going full in on B. Yep, as they get first blood on Brian.
Big trade.
Trade with Buckshot, yeah.
That's a big trade. That really keeps you in this round and flowing. You're able to kind of split the map. You get that player off of Tiki as well. Now you're kind of stuck in a rough 1v3 now with the sniper rifle. Braid is going to have to go absolutely massive here. There's going to be a player in the bedroom looking. Not able to see it. Going to leave it alone. Going to check bomb. But Adonis, of course, is going to pick up that last kill. Just wall banging. I like the trigger discipline there from Braid. However, it's Adonis with another kill. 12 and 4 on the map.
Wow. Doing absolute work. That's going to put LA up 2-0 in this match. Ow.
Yeah, Adonis. Yeah, if Adonis slays, let's say they win 3-0. If Adonis slays this well in the overload, I think that's a guaranteed MVP. The takeover in search was unreal.
Yeah, no, and that was crazy. And again, we've been saying it too the last couple of weeks. Adonis has been on point. That's carrying over here to that game, or in, with that momentum and whatnot. And I mean, at this point, Chicago's got to look at what the hell are they going to do to stop Adonis. Adonis is absolutely,
like, do you not have trophies? Like, Flak? How do you get naded every round? Like,
stop going that direction. That's a me move. That was a me move. That's something that I would do.
You're two-hitting mid. No one's wearing flak jacket. People are dying, man. Like, holy moly. Was there not a trophy? I didn't see one trophy. And I didn't see one trophy in Zig. Am I faded?
Yeah.
Chat, am I faded? Please tell me.
I don't know. I want to know what those comms were like, or you know what I mean? Just like, what was just happening there, especially the fact too that it just kept happening.
It was so overwhelming. Tamer's over here in Tiki at the bar, drinking at the lounge, not shooting his gun. Adonis is throwing nades up in the air. Like, what is happening? That map was so crazy.
That was wild. That was awesome. Again, LA being able to get up 2-0. This is where it's really going to come down to, is this next map here at Den with Overload. Again, going back to, and I just got to ask you, Refresh, is this something where you start getting a little sweaty, palms start, they're getting a little wet? Because I've been in this position before.
Yeah,
we went to Overload and it fell apart.
Yeah, I think you got to be thinking about the game here, right? If you're Chicago, I'm not even going to look at this from LA's perspective, because I think they're doing what they need to do with the amount of slays everyone's getting versus the amount of objective that they're playing. I think right now, if you're Chicago, you're looking at this Overload and you need to play it solid. You need to have that offensive line that I always talk about. You have to have your guns run first. You got to be able to know, like, all right, like when that second EMP spawns, it spawns out on jumps. If you get that first cap and you're not ready, you have to be ready for the counter cap, right? You have to kind of play back towards the middle. I compare this game mode to kind of like playing tennis. As soon as you hit that ball, as soon as that possession changes, you got to be in the middle. You got to be able to play defense on both sides. And there's so many times where we just see somebody like hold forward, man, and then they just go in the complete opposite direction of where they need to be. And I feel like we see it so often. So I think now that this game has been out for a little bit longer and this game mode's becoming a little bit more relevant as the season has gone on, I think we're going to start seeing players pick up like that defensive mentality. Because right now I've seen some faded plays where people just like pick up the EMP and hold forward, and there's nobody in front of them except for the other team.
Yeah, and it really does come down to that strat as well, because you can see this is one of those modes that, again, once you in the first half, you can only score a certain amount of points, but once you get to that second half, they get it's run loose time. So it's going to be super important for either team, number one, to keep it close, not get down too much in that first half. And then, of course, that second half is so important because that's really where things are going to go. And Chicago, what I feel they need to do, to be successful here, they've got to outslay here. I feel that they've got to, and again, that I saw it in chat here. They're saying, "Yo, get our man Ack some help." Ack is out there doing some work and whatnot. Not that anybody else is not trying their best in doing work, but just a little more out of somebody, I think it's going to make a huge difference. And I'm just excited to see. I love Overload. It's such a just an intense mode and a jockeying back and forth, and somebody's going and trying to be offensive, or while somebody's back there, or there's a couple of people being defensive. So it'll be interesting to see how the gums come out and how much of a factor they're really going to play here in this match.
Yeah, one thing I'm really going to look for here is who is willing to stay alive. Who's going to be willing to not ego chow and stay alive when they know that they're down on teammates? Whether that be somebody with the EMP control or that's somebody kind of pushed up forward on the map. Who's getting these spawn controls? Who's waiting for help? I think waiting for help is such a big factor in Call of Duty that people just overlook all the time. I think people get the call-outs and just immediately want like the 2-piece, the 3-piece, the flashy play. But there's a lot of value in playing your life. There's a lot of value in laying down in that weird corner and just waiting for help, like just getting info, waiting for help, and then making the play when it's time. And I think now that you have an objective mode where the objective is now mobile again, I think that's super important thing to do, especially if it were to come down to like a sudden death situation, right? You essentially have to play S&D, so be in a good position. Always try to be in that good position.
Yeah, and you're going to probably see them try to lock down a little bit here too and not squirrel away, come up with a strategy, of course, whatever their strategy may be, and try to execute that. Now is not the time, and you're right. Sometimes folks are trying to get out there, trying to get all the kills and, do a highlight reel or something like that. But right now, as your back is against the wall facing elimination here, match point, you got to lock in. Now's the time. We saw it last week. We see it can happen. It can be done. Chicago's going to need to dig deep here and try to execute. It's going to need to be almost flawless, but it is doable.
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable. Chicago got to lock in. I think they had opportunity in the first respawn that we played. They have an opportunity in this one too. They had an opportunity in the S&D as well.
Yeah, no, and that's the big
so
thing.
It's been close.
Been a blowout.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's been close. It's been super close, and I think Chicago just needs that little bit of clutch factor. I feel like you kind of get caught with your pants down a little bit towards the end of that match, especially in that last round. You have players standing still in Tiki. You left your sniper in a 1v3. It's just you gotta have your thinking caps on, guys. Like it's time. It's time for you guys to win a series, and this could easily be the series you win.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, like Refresh is saying, they just got to lock in. they've been playing solid. They've been going back and forth. They were up on the hard point map. You know, they jocked it out there on S&D. So really, it's going to be about for them. I think it's just that finish factor. They're not getting the finish factor, or somebody's not. You know, they're not able to just kind of push through that last finish line. However, if they are able to turn that around here, they're able to kind of solve that here in this overload map. That's gonna be scary for LA.
Yeah, this could get
you know,
super scary,
that, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
I think it's just got to be about who takes control of this map, and I think Chicago has the tools to do it. I think really the difference between AK and a lot of these other players, maybe it's not so much AK needing help, but like AK needs to be on these rotations like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, as we get started here and we get going, we're lined up here on Adonis. Charge sitting here in the middle. We'll see. Again, it's going to be about that Slay game as gets the first blood, and they get that numbers game here.
Yeah, so they are going to swap colors. Team in blue is going to be Chicago Unity. Team in red is going to be your LA Rumble. LA Rumble trying to get some early control of the middle of the map. That's going to be Adonis that falls. iSpot picking up a nice little two-piece over on this Dojo side. That could have been a big kill. Bryant is actually going to follow up Tamer. Tamer has a really big opportunity to kind of show off some slaying skills. Started off 2-0. Already double the kills that they had in that whole entire search and destroy that we watched. So there's the third one there. Bryant looking for a kill. Unable to do it.
Yeah, there's some good jocking back and forth here, as it looks like we were saying Adonis sitting at 0-2 right now. So that's
no nades.
Another slay. Jeez, no nades. No
yeah,
nades.
iSpot doing a lot of legwork. Look at all of these blue arrows converging onto this point. All right, now this is a race. This is going to spawn over towards jumps. You already see Adonis moving. So Adonis has already done a great job getting up the map. Definitely the furthest one on the map to play. A little bit of offense here. Going to spot the players running in the couch. Your EMP falls. I mean, that's that faded play I was talking about, right? Your EMP player should never, ever be the first one in the door. It's always got to be the last one. And now if Brian doesn't get a couple of kills here, this map could easily wrap back and forth. Yep, so one's going to take it. He's starting to wrap back. iSpot, so far, iSpot's been my favorite arrow as far as playing this in the middle of the map. Oh, that's a big kill. Adonis is going to shred him.
Oh, that was absolutely huge. As it looks like Buckshot's going to pick up the charge here, swinging around the left-hand side. It's got a little clearance, but it's got nobody to help him out there, as iSpot's heading over that way to help out. Buckshot did get slain there.
iSpot with another big two-piece. 12-4 to start off on a 4 streak right now.
iSpot's playing out of his mind as they get the dunk. Yeah. No, that was huge. That was set up by iSpot.
Yeah, iSpot done a really good job cutting this map up into tiny little bits for his team. AK, though, going to be kind of your last in line to get a little bit of a defensive play going. Get picked, absolutely shreds AK with the pistol. They get a nice counter cap. They're still down 2-1. LA still very much in it within this first half. Remember, you can only score up to 4 in the first half. So you can't get down by too far.
That's right, yeah. And it's so important, too, to kind of at least keep things within a manageable range, as we see Tamer throwing down towards that B side. Looking for the slay. Didn't get it, though. As he gets slain. They're down numbers-wise. It's a 1v3 or a 4v1 and gets picked.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of work. Look at 3 red arrows in the middle of the map. No one plays defense over here on A. This should be a free cap. I don't know if iSpot knows. iSpot should have the callouts. If any of these players get picked up, that should be a free cap. Yeah, that must have been a big miscommunication. There's no way 3 red arrows should have been in the middle of the map when they're running it in Dojo.
Yeah, that was crazy. That literally was a free play. Nobody back there to be able to play any.
Yeah, look at it. We're about to get steamrolled again.
Wrapping around, looking for the dunk and gets it. Holy crap! That is going to be huge as Chicago gets up 4-1 as we head into halftime. Wow. iSpot is playing like a madman right now.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of really good map coordination here between iSpot and the rest of these players. I don't know who scored, mostly on the overload. Yeah, that's such a big two-piece to open up the middle of the map. Big deal,
Yeah.
big plays, big players, big moments, man.
And we saw that as iSpot starts locking in here on the Slays. Adonis struggling here at 6 and 9. Get picked sitting at 4 and 13 as well. That's going to make a huge difference when it comes to this number game and them being able to go in and dunk that charge, just them being out of position.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this early break is going to happen. Buckshot, Adonis, iSpot, everybody in the mix right now. Axe shooting the gun. Like it. Get picked with a nice little two-piece over there on Dojo's side. Axe kind of left on a little island all by themselves in the middle of the map. Get picked. Trying to really put some emphasis on this Dojo side. And you're going to see Bryant trying to follow up these players. Ack is going to be the one playing defense here. Going to be in a shifty position. Going to slide out. Not able to get a kill. Bryant is going to fall. Ack is going to get the kill there. Gets 2 of those 3. They realize that A side could possibly be open. Tamer is going to be kind of left to follow these players up. Going to have to go fast. Ack doesn't know this player's behind him. Tamer trying to catch up. That's 3 dead. The last player's last alive is behind him. They still don't know. Tamer just couldn't get there. You might as well go back to the middle of the map. iSpot slaying out in their spawn. Tamer able to pick up the kills, but it's just too late. You just saw that red arrow. What is it? Like at least 10 feet behind those blue ones.
Too far back, wasn't able to get up in time. As we saw, Tamer was able to get some kills, but again, they still were able to get the dunk. Up 5-1 now as iSpot jumps out, is coming over. Nobody has picked up the charge as of yet. It looks like Bryant tried to, but gets slain himself. Looks like Chicago might know. Chicago gets got as well. Nobody's sitting on that charge. They're just looking for Slays right now.
Yep.
As iSpot does work, is clearing the way.
This is big right here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that gunfight was big.
I thought Buckshot for sure was going to pick up the charge here and try to push ahead. It looks like Braid's going to pick it up, though, but it's going to be too late now.
There it is. That's that moment I'm talking about. You can't just pick up that EMP device and go. You got to be able to help your team. I actually really like that play from iSpot, Braid, and Buckshot. I feel like they did a really good job. Time is on their side. There's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Time is on their side. They don't need to pick up this device. If they're slaying this hard in their base and this EMP just stays in this spot, they're going to win the map. So they're opting to play map control. They're using all 4 of their players with their primary weapon out, and they're able to just get control. A really sneaky kill there from Braid. Braid is just going to sit still and allow those players to line up. That's going to be Ack picking up a big kill in the back. Adonis is going to be the one trying to rotate. Picks up 1 kill, and here we go again. They get the call out that the player's in the back. They know that they have numbers forward. iSpot picks up a 2-piece, and now they have the opportunity here to cap. A little bit of a hesitation. They're going to drop it down. Yeah, MP2. It's just a little bit of a hezzy, a little bit of a team kill as well. Buckshot with another. Dang, man. These guys are frying them.
Yeah, they are. It looks like Adonis was pushing forward, but gets got there by iSpot, continuing to do the work. Yeah, and they just need to come in backside as Ack picks up, looking to get that, but gets got there. They do trade, so they should be able to, they're going to get a dunk here. So that's going to make it 6-1 Chicago. This is not looking good here for LA Rumble. This has been a rough map, rough go at it for them, and it just looks like Chicago is just outplaying them at the moment.
Yeah, Chicago definitely outplaying them, especially on that P2 side of the map. I do like this cut over towards mid. They're playing a little bit of a risk. Going to rotate in and out. Those players are going to be there for the cutoff, though. Good heads up by these blue arrows. The players over on Chicago to pick up those kills. iSpot, another kill with a pistol. Ooh, Adonis in a scary spot. iSpot dropped it off. Almost was ready for him to pick it up and score, but 6-1. It's going to be impossible for them to catch up. I mean, 50 seconds left. This map's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but then you had that trade there at the end. But who was it? It might have been Adonis. Looked like he got some or traded with somebody. That's not. Yeah, that's just rough. This is just a rough go at it. Gets picked there as Chicago's just at this point can just run out the time. They don't even have to worry about scoring, and they're just looking to do slaying. It looks like they're, kind of making a little bit of a statement piece. Like, look, we're not going anywhere. We are still here. We are still fighting. As iSpot gets the slay there, looking to try to get a dunk in.
God playing for stats. That's crazy.
Huge.
That's a crazy 7-1. I need to adjust my my notes here.
32 and 18.
Yeah, that was bananas.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Okay, well, we've seen them play on Dead now. And we not only did we see them play Dead, we've seen them play a respawn on Dead. And we're about to go into another map where I'm going to be looking at this P2 and how well Chicago plays on this P2 side, because they were crushing LA on P2 side, crushing them. I think when it comes to taking over a specific side of the map, especially on Den Overload, like Chicago did a very, very good job getting numbers forward and actually being involved in the play.
Oh man, this is gonna be huge. Again, we're back at Den for map 4 here. We are at 2-1. LA Rumble is up. They went up 2-0, and we came to map 3, where Chicago has been able to turn the tides, winning that quite handily as well. So you've got to think going here into game 4, back on hardpoint, where we saw them in game 1, they were leading the majority of the hardpoint match, even at one point where we thought it might get out of hand, and LA was able to come back. So what has got to be going on in LA's head right now? They've got to be sweating.
I just don't know if that was a complete 180. I think what I'm nervous about is, like, we just saw a lot of really good eye candy, especially from a player like iSpot, getting a lot of 2 pieces, 3 pieces, getting up on the map, and clearly comfortable slaying on their side. Now, my only concern is, okay, if you're LA, how much does that check you? Or how much is it overconfidence from Chicago? Do you think you can gun anything? I feel like a lot of iSpot was shooting. iSpot was playing very well. However, there was a lot of moments where iSpot had a lot of help on the map getting guns forward. They also had a lot of people weak in front of them. So I think, and that's obviously nothing to take away from iSpot. I think that's everything added on to the teamwork that was Chicago there. Maybe it was the game mode. There was definitely a few moments where we were commenting on, like, LA looking a little lost on the map, especially that one dojo cap where we had 3 red arrows mid-map and they were already in dojo. I think there maybe just was some miscommunication. So I don't know if it's the map. I don't know if it was the mode. But if you're Chicago, I think you still got to play like you're down 0-2 going into this hard point.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't think you can let that win get too far ahead of you. I think you still got to play like your life depends on it, because it does. If they lose this map, they lose the series. They're 0-3 to start the league, and that's just not a situation you want to be in going into this week.
No, absolutely not. And again, I feel like we talked about it beforehand too. They just really need to lock in, play their game. I think we saw that there. What's really going to be a huge determining factor is this hard point. And if they're able to do like they were able to the first game, jump out to a lead, but hold on to it this time, not let LA claw their way back into it. We'll see how that goes. If
I'm sorry, I just read so much. Dude. If you guys don't know, I'm living in Wisconsin. I live in a church. So yeah, this is my living room. My bedroom's just over there. But yeah, I live in a church. That's why it always looks wild behind me. It's just because that's my situation.
Fancy.
Yeah, I guess so, dude.
You guys are doing great.
Yeah.
Here we go, baby. Here we go. Back on hard point. This is possible match point for LA Rumble. They just need to win this. Chicago looking to stay alive as Get Picked is that first blood. Braid gets it there. A little trade there with Pack, Adonis, and Chicago's going to be on point. They're going to be the first ones there. Again, they're going to look to hold. They're going to look to get out in that lead and not mess around and try to close it out here for this hard point.
Yeah, picking up a nice little two-piece there. Initial time going over to Chicago. However, this is P1. It's going to get scrappy. It is going to be Chicago that initially has this control of P2 side. You're going to see this number 4 arrow, Icebot, the person that was so hot last round, going to be looking to get some more slays. Going to be the last one alive on this side of the map. Going to realize it. Going to recognize the call-out. Going to fall back a little bit. You got Ack that spawns on you. I like that play. You do bait your teammate out there, and I loved that play. Icebot staying alive behind that wall, allowing their teammate to get traded, but they're gonna get spawns here. And again, this is that P2 side of the map that I was super picky on when it came from that LA side. I feel like they hit a lot of this one-on-one, and they really need to focus up.
Yeah, no, that was brutal too, because you saw them kind of just trickle in there and get got one by one here as Chicago continues to hang on to this lead and score here with about 25 seconds left.
This chat's got me absolutely fried right now, dude. You guys are so funny. I love you guys so much. But yeah, no, Chicago again on this P2 side, super solid, strong. Ack trying to get the early rotation is going to get knifed over in Dojo. Braid, big opportunity for a big kill here. Going to pick up one, is going to get traded. This is, okay. Ack, who is this? Ack and Icebot have a big opportunity. Buckshot picking up one. Going to turn those arrows around. I can't wait for them to go back and play this. Buckshot picking up that first one. You see all those red arrows flip. The call out comes running through, and if they get this last kill, this is going to be really good executed COD. And they do.
Yeah, that's huge. That was huge. Yeah. As they see, nobody currently on point. Time ticking down. We're about at the 30-second mark. And Unity is able to get back on there. That's going to be huge. LA down big right now. Not completely out, though, with 20 seconds left. We'll see somebody, I didn't see who it is. Somebody's on there contesting. Looks like we've got Brian. Brian did get got, though. They won't kind of converge there for these last 10 seconds. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen anybody start rotating as we do. Ack is making their way over, but it's going to get caught up there in the middle. LA Rumble had that backsider, easily able to get on the point and start scoring here. This is going to be a huge rotation for them if they're able to defend.
Stick. Yeah, no, this is gonna be a big point right here. This is about the lead difference that we saw in this map number 1, and LA were still able to pull through. So I think it's gonna be a little bit of an endurance test, especially with the extended series that we now have with this game number 4. So you're gonna want to see these players play their best throughout this whole time and really hold out. LA Rumble right now taking everything they can off of this P4. Big kill. Staying alive. A lot of team nades. Really good kill with the pistol. 10 and 11. Starting to soak up their first round of time. We're going to be about a 30-point lead going back into rotations for this P1. Last time we saw a P1, we were able to see Chicago get the P2 rotation and about 20 seconds of time. So we'll see if that happens again.
Yeah, and this is going to be huge as Brian's getting some slays, taking up that clock. Ack gets got here. This is, again, I feel like this is similar to what we saw that first time where LA was able to just, you know, start getting points and start,
you gotta wait.
Start cutting into that lead.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Ack wait there. Ack tossed out a nade, and I think they got a hit marker and maybe just got a little bit too excited. But they basically chowed a 1v4 on the point. You got to wait for your teammates there. You need this. This is a 4v4 game, right? You need to have all your teammates up and shooting in order to get these big wins. And now this lead is going to go ahead and swap on over to LA. And this is going to be a big P2 rotation. So LA take majority of the time on the P1. Going to get the initial P2 spawns. And this is going to be scary.
This is a huge flip. Again, and once they're on point too, I feel like they do a great job of hanging on to it. But Buckshot's going to be able to get in there, get the kill, and start stacking back up here for Chicago Unity. That's going to be a huge flip for them, as Buckshot's able to stay alive there. I thought Buckshot definitely was going to get got. Was able to stay up. We've got 2 people sitting on point, as it looks like they're going to converge there on the point, and did not continue to do that. I thought they were able to flip it there, but they were not.
Yeah, they weren't able to flip it there, and the rest of this time it looks like it's going to go over to LA. This is going to be a hard scrap time push by Chicago. Chicago going to opt to go for the rotation instead. Tamer gonna get a little bit of a whiff of that. Gonna get sniffed out though here. Gonna get a lot of info though. Knows those players are already spawning there. Adonis trying to hit the wrap on the Dojo. Big kill there from Adonis onto Braid. Gonna check the stun. Any info? No info. Gonna check outer. Doesn't see the player. Laying deep outer. Bryant with an opportunity here. Shake things up.
Oh, that was a huge trade there. They needed that. Chicago takes the lead again. Braid looking down. Chicago is stacking up here. It looks like they're about to get here on the left side. Braid's just sitting there content with it being contested and nobody.
That nade was insane, dude. You know that meme of Willem Dafoe staring up in the sky, bro? That's exactly what just happened. that player saw subtext just rain down on him, dude. Holy moly. I didn't know Otani played for the Rumble, dude. That's crazy.
All right, we've got that rotation as Chicago takes the point. They're looking to set up some defense and take the lead here again. We flip-flop now 2 or 3 times.
Braid, you got to get more than just one there. Braid slid in behind him on servers, had a bullet just about everybody on the map, except they just were able to piece together. I think that was a big moment, especially if they get the rest of this time.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. They're going to be able to extend the lead as we've got 30 seconds. Seen Adonis doing some work. Ends up getting picked off there. And, yeah, 20 seconds left. Unity's able to get on if they're able to stay on for this last little bit. It's still very close. It's anybody's game at the moment. They're just going back and forth. Really, nobody. I feel like it's so evenly matched between the two. This is really going to come down to these last points here. Again, as High Spot sits on Hill, starts scoring for Unity. Unity looking to take the lead again. He's able to get the headshot there in the middle as LA takes back over. Neither one of them are really able to get a good jump on the other one. I just feel like it's just trading back and forth. Really all about that numbers game. Look at and I'm over here. Tamer's having a much better round this round. Get Picked as having a little still under, not a positive KD, but definitely doing work there as basically majority of Chicago Unity goes down, and LA is able to get over the 200 mark here. This is going to be huge as we get this last bit of scrap time, and they're already making their way over to the next point.
Yeah, that scrap time was really big, and if you go ahead and look over at the stat line, Bryant has 2 minutes and 19 seconds of build time. If you look at the slays, it's actually not too much favored into LA Rumble's way. They're just playing the time better. They always have somebody soaking that time. They're not guessing. They're playing this hard point super, super solid. Adonis picks up a nice 3-piece and a biscuit. Oh, look at him. He just gets more. A man's going to pick himself up a Caniac combo on the way home if he picks up one more. Yeah, extra cane sauce, please. There it is.
That's LA 10 seconds away from winning this. Bryant sits on point. They're gonna score it up. I think it might be. Yeah,
shit.
It's going. Holy moly! Bryant said game over.
Oh my gosh. All right, LA, I see you game. You just suck on overload.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah. That was a crazy way to end it off too. Like
Yeah.
my man did work. My man did work there.
Honestly, it was super back and forth throughout most of the game. It's just I feel like when it comes to the second half of the hard point, I feel like LA just has a lot more endurance than Chicago does. Chicago definitely had its moments. Again, super, super close. Up until honestly that second P1 is when you really started to kind of shift. I think for them to get two big wins from P1 to P2 back-to-back rotations, I think was probably the reason why they won that map, and they soaked up so much scrap time. What was it? Bryant had 2 minutes of time. Like, what are you gonna do? You got to get that player off the hill.
Yeah, that's crazy. And again, like you said, it wasn't even about the Slay game. It was really more about that just being on the hill, being in that position, getting the kills needed for your guy to be able to stay racking up points and then moving forward. That was an absolute battle between. We saw so many lead changes between the two, but of course, and we called that too. It's gonna come down to these last couple of hills here, and they were able to secure the hill, rack up the points, stop them, and then of course that last bit there with that three piece at the end. I feel like that was a little chef's kiss. They said, "Oh nay nay, not this time," on a reverse sweep.
Yeah, they
I
said
don't
it.
think
They
so.
said it just like that too. I heard it. I swear. I I heard him, dude. I heard every single one of them say just like that. Um, I kind of sat down here and I wrote down a couple of stats of who I would say the MVP would probably be between Get Picked and Adonis. I feel like the reason why I'm going to give it to Adonis, I feel like both of them slayed very, very hard in both of those hard points. However, Adonis on that S&D, I think just turned up. Um,
Yeah.
there was something about that S&D that they just went crazy for. They were throwing all the nades, a lot of the first bloods, and they were able to convert on a lot of those first bloods. So I'm going to give Adonis my personal. Obviously, if production comes back and yells at me, whatever, dude. That's just but Adonis, I'm going to give you your props. Yeah. But we're working pretty bare bones right now. So we don't have anything special for you guys right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front.
That's all right though, and again too, I think the other thing that really stands out for me is the fact that Adonis has been consistent over the last 3 weeks. So anytime we see LA, I know that Adonis is going to show out. And has done so so far this season. So I think I think that's a fair play. We'll see how they call it out and who we can get up in here to talk to. But what a great freaking match as LA is able to stave off that comeback attempt by the Chicago Unity. They just did not have enough to get past the LA Rumble.
Yeah, no, they look super solid. I'm trying to think if we have an interview. I don't believe we are going to have an interview.
Okay.
But yeah, just to recap what happened, we had LA Rumble versus Chicago Union in our first series of the night. It ended in a 3-1 fashion for LA Rumble, taking the first, second, and fourth map. I will say Chicago Unity did look very, very good in the overload. I think if you're LA Rumble, that is going to be the game mode you looked at. I know I made a cheeky tongue-in-cheek joke earlier about them not being good on it, but for real, you guys have to really just look at that overload and figure out, piece together what happened wrong. Because, I mean, again, these hard points were pretty close, and so was the S&D.
Yeah, but Overload, yeah, no, Overload, they definitely took control and had control of that. Unfortunately for them, it wasn't enough as LA is able to capitalize again with Hardpoint, even though they were back on Den. But again, I feel like these two teams are pretty evenly matched when it comes up to it. It's just that from what we saw, Chicago, I feel like just kind of ran out of gas there at the end of their matches. They started out great, but as the match went on, they just kind of it would just fall off a little bit. And of course, LA being able to get that first win, putting one up in the dub column is absolutely
Big.
huge. You've got got that monkey off your back now. You can relax and start looking forward to what next week looks like.
Yeah, looking forward to next week. They are. But we're going to go ahead and throw it on over to an intermission. Smitty, I know that's going to be it from you for tonight. I want to say thank you. I love commentating with you. It's always a blast. Anything you want to say?
The pleasure is all mine. Yeah, no, the pleasure is all mine. Again, thank you so much to the LSS, geez, LSL, the Legacy Showdown League. It's always a pleasure being able to come on and cast with you, my friend. I appreciate you, Refresh. I hope you guys enjoy the next matches as well, because we're not done, baby.
We're not done. I'll see you guys soon. I will be right back.